Hey, hey,
Hey!
we are here. Me and do you want to go by a queen or a crystal? Which one?
I'm fine with either. I'll answer to Crystal tonight.
Okay, Crystal and I are here. I'm sure you guys noticed there's no Tom. He unfortunately has some family business to take care of. But Crystal and I are going to hold down the fort, and we are going to rewatch episode 8 of Wheel of Time. So, Crystal, first impressions.
Oh my gosh. Got done telling you this. I spent most of this first episode just crying. This season for me completely redeemed any feelings I had about season one. Like any little negative feelings I had, I absolutely loved this season and especially the way it ended. It was absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, so I agree. Now, I still don't think I will ever feel good about the way the first season ended. Hi, Rosa. I don't know
Yeah.
that I would ever feel good about the way the first season ended because number one, I was really bothered by how the blight looked. I didn't like that. That's my personal opinion. I didn't like the forest. It was not what I had in my head. But I got over it. But now that I've seen the full second season, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what you were doing. But it was 2 years of me going, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to get there. So, but I very, very much enjoyed the second season. I was a day late watching episode 8. And so I spent all day, yeah, well, because it comes on Thursday night, and I'm a good wife and mother
Uh,
and watch football with these fools that live with me. Um, so then all day Friday, I'm like, people are tagging me and stuff on Facebook, like, I can't go on the social media. I can't do
nope.
Why
You stay
didn't
away.
stay home? Why I didn't stay home Friday? I don't know. Like the thought never crossed my mind to just stay home and watch it.
I I can't like the second I get it in my hand, like what kept happening, because people know that some of us get screeners, it would happen while
Mhm.
I was at work. And all of my other little friends on there would be watching it already and start talking like, guys, stop. Like
Yes,
can't watch this at work. Stop it. But the
yeah,
second
no,
I would get home, I'd have to put it on.
yeah. So, and then Brian was even nice enough to take Avi to the high school football game on Friday night because they told him I have to go watch Wheel of Time. I don't even like football. Please take your daughter to this game. Um, so he gave me permission to watch it without him, and I was like, well, good. That means I don't have to lie about it. Since you give me permission, because I was going to do it anyway. So, no
Hey Gnome,
regard.
hey Arosa.
All right. So we are gonna get the watch party started in just a little bit, right? In about another 5 minutes or so.
Oh, they did. Okay. Yeah, we're going to
Oh,
give it another few minutes, let people get on. We may have a
oh,
special guest joining us. We're not 100% sure.
yes.
Oh, I hadn't noticed that, Gnome. That's awesome.
Gnome
I
and Garden
thought,
with all the details. I'm fine with either one of
oh,
them. I'm happy with I. So I had a little crush on Barney, and I was like, this is perfect. He
same.
looks just like my Matt. Like, and I love Matt. He's my favorite. And I'm like, I could have handpicked him myself. Then I was sad because also it's like he fell off the face of the earth for a little bit, and I was like, is Barney okay? Like, what happened? But I am very happy with the new Matt. He has done an excellent job. Not sure how I feel about the his hair. I feel like it might be a little bit too curly, but I think that's just
I'm
my personal preference. Like it's not like if I was bringing him home to my mom, I feel like I want him to have
turn that
straighter
up a
hair.
little bit, clean him up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, just a
For
little bit, just
me,
a little
his performance when he
bit.
was still in the White Tower and Leandrin was locking the door and he's
Hmm.
like doing and he's counting, he's doing
Yes,
that was my Matt moment where I'm like, there
yes,
he is. That's my
yep,
guy.
yep,
That's my guy right
yep,
there.
yep, yep,
That was
yep.
the moment. Well, hopefully
Now
we
I
get our guest on here. We shall see.
okay. Um, so I will say the one thing that I have seen because now that I've watched it and I've been online and all the different groups and everything, there's two things about this season that people are just I feel like they didn't pay they got something different from the episode than I did. The first one is I don't know why they made Min a dark friend. I don't think at any point Min is presented as a dark friend. She is presented as someone being manipulated.
Yeah, I never took her as being a dark friend, but
As
that could
being
be
a
because
dark
I'm so attached to her in the books, though. She's my favorite female. So,
Well, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but I don't feel like the way she struggled with everything she was being asked to do wasn't giving me dark friend vibes. It was giving me, I'm in a bad situation. I found a way out. I don't know how I feel about it. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like she was completely sold on the idea. It was more like, and plus, who knows what Leandrin told her, right?
Yep. Well, and we know, yeah. I have my own feelings about Leandrin's reasons too.
Right, right. And the other thing is about Baron's lie. And I'm like, see, this is exactly why they tell you you got to listen to what the Aes Sedai says.
Yeah. No, no.
Um,
Yeah, he'd do that. He
well, I
he'd do
don't know.
that.
I think in his mind, he would just be bringing them away around to the right way of thinking. It would be manipulating. It would be freeing their mind. He'd go totally Morpheus in the Matrix and be pulling people out too early, like they did to Keanu. Like that's he's freeing their mind.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, I love it.
but I find it interesting that even book readers we know that the truth the Aes Sedai tells you is not the truth you
Not the
think you
truth you
hear,
hear. Yep.
right? And there's still people. Farron lied, right? No, she didn't. She every word she said was true. Every single
Mm.
word.
Did you have, I don't want to go too far into it. Did you have a
Right.
moment this episode that was just like your favorite moment? The moment that felt like the season's obviously it leaves us on a cliffhanger, but that where it was like
Mhm.
complete, you're like, okay, I feel good letting go for another year and a half.
So it's my favorite moment, honestly, was seeing an actual dragon in Wheel of Time. Because the whole reason I picked up the series is because they said there was a dragon in it, and I love dragons. And like 3 books in, and I'm like, I haven't seen a dragon. Like the dude's the dragon. But I liked Matt remembering. Um, and I know I like him remembering. I'm glad he still blew the horn. Like I'm glad everybody like they're keeping that storyline. I will say for me, it's gonna sound terrible. I want to still see him struggle a little bit, just a little bit, because if not, that was just a real quick. Like for as rough as life was, and like I totally get it, but at some point I feel like in season 3 he's still gonna have a little bit of a struggle,
No, I
right?
think so.
Because yeah, he can't be happy go lucky Matt because he remembers. Because if it's gonna align with the book, he wasn't always necessarily, if I remember correctly, the memories because he remembered dying a lot too.
Yep.
So I do still hope we get the doorway though. That's
But
it, and
will he keep
that's what I'm wondering. Noman Garden is will it be something where it continues on, or does something else happen? Right. Um, I will say the one thing I did like is when so the first watch because I watched it twice. The first time I watched it, and when Ishi comes into Sir Osram and he's dusting his hands, I was like, what is that? It wasn't until the second watch through that it dawned on me he had just broken the seals, and that's why his hands were dusty. And I was like, see, I was too excited. I had a lot of anxiety watching that episode.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Here, I'm gonna throw this up. A few things bothered
Okay.
him a lot. I've seen a lot of talk online about the channeling system and people being, in particular, towards the end where Egwene is facing off
Egwene host.
with,
Well,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I still stand by the fact is she is not attacking. She is solely putting up a shield, right? She's just putting up a shield. Um, Now, do we think that if she was using his full strength against that shield? I mean, in theory, why would he need to? As far as he knew, Rand was shielded, right? Um, he has a flair for the dramatic. I do think he got a little worried when more of the Fielder Five came up to the top. Then he was like, "Oh, wait a minute."
Yep.
But with, I mean, we saw in the books that she got extremely strong while with the Seanchan, right?
Yep.
Like she developed a lot of strength. I believe that she could hold a shield. And that she could hold a shield against Ishii for a little bit. If, especially if they're trying to present her as being as powerful as they're trying to present her, I think it's important for non-book readers to see examples of that right out the gate,
I
right?
think that's fair. No, I think that's fair. That the one other criticism that I saw a lot was like, why didn't Nynaeve and Elaine join her? Like, why didn't they just come
Well,
and jump right in
well,
and
we know
help?
Igwe. I mean, Nynaeve at the best would be able to link. Well, she would have to. Elaine would have to link through Nynaeve, but I think that they saw that Rand was hurt, and I think like when they come up, they go over to Rand because isn't Egwene like go? Doesn't she look over and see them and she's like
Yeah.
go? So I think their mindset was we got it. Something's wrong with Rand. Let's go see if he needs to be healed, whatever needs to happen. Because to them, it looked like she was holding her own for a little bit, right? So I think that was just triage in the situation was because if they could have held the shield longer, but if Rand died, it would have been pointless, right?
Hopper, our bearded leader, had some family
Yeah,
stuff going on and was not able to join us here tonight. So you're stuck with
and
just Ebony and I for the
yes,
evening.
but we missed him very much.
So much.
So
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 much. So what we're gonna do is we're still gonna do our rewatch. We'll give everybody about, let's do another minute or so,
minute. Okay,
and then we'll get started on that. If you need to queue it up, I do because I always end up watching it off of
me
Prime.
too. Me too. I just that way I could have my
This
little
is
captions on.
Yep, that's I like having the
Yes,
X-ray on too.
yeah, yeah. So I think this is a good way for them to go because if he remembers now, it got him through this, but then this will be where he has his little bit of a struggle. Because here's the thing, he's still got to hear those dice. If we don't hear those dice, I'm gonna be so sad. I've almost gotten over Loyal's ears. I've almost gotten
Yep.
over not seeing those. I'm so I'm just like I know
Do you think?
I understand. I think he's hiding them in his hair.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Do you think we see them ever, or is it just
I
no?
I
We're off on the
hope
ears.
I hope that we go and he sees Aerith and like his ears point up out of his hair. Like they've been hiding there the whole time, but he's interested in his ears point up. That's what I want to happen.
I
Um
absolutely love that. That's funny.
it would be but it would be so adorable and it would be one of those kind of and then Matt could have a quip to go with it and then it'll feel like Wheel of Time. Um but I really and I was concerned about how they were going to show the wolves speaking to each other, you know, and they did great on that. So I have full confidence that they can do the dice sound overlaying. We had whistling all through season one,
That is true. That is
right? So
true.
I feel like they can do it, but I kind of want them to do it, but like there's no explanation. Like I want them to do it like a lot in a few episodes, so people who don't know what it is kind of make the connection eventually. Like I don't want Matt to be saying, "I hear dice in my head when I'm lucky." I don't want that.
Can do a thought bubble. Too funny. All right, everybody. So if you're gonna join us, I'm hoping that's so the one power that I do not have is to start the watch party. So if everybody just wants to get their stuff queued up, I'll give a countdown and I'll just do occasional like just call it out if you need the time and I will go
Yep.
ahead and do that. We are not skipping any of the previews either. So all
No.
right,
And
let's get started.
also, we get the full intro for this
Yes.
episode. So let's all enjoy that.
Do you think there's a reason why they did that for the
I
final
think they
episode?
I think they did it for the final episode because they cut it from the first 7 to give us some extra time, and I think they probably, I'm sure they're proud of it. I'm sure they heard how much the fans of the show enjoyed it. So I think that was just kind of here you go. We know that you haven't seen it for 7 episodes. This is
Oh,
the
I
fun.
squealed. I was like,
I was gonna say, like it brought that excitement level up a little bit
yep.
to see the opening, because I was even like, oh look, we're getting the opening. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and do our countdown.
All right. Sorry. All right. I'm going to give it to you
No.
guys in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Let me turn mine down. I watched this within an hour before we came on, so I would not cry in front of you guys tonight. This episode gets me multiple places. It gets me.
So I will say I'm very proud that I did not cry. Like I teared up, but I did not cry.
I mean, we've talked about it with John Wick. I
Yeah.
can't do anything with an animal. Like
Yeah.
horse a
Yes.
couple weeks
But
ago was enough for me, and
yeah,
yeah.
John Wick is so good though. Like that dog gets John gets those people. He gets all the people.
I made my husband watch the next one and then tell me if any more animals died before I would keep
Oh yeah,
watching.
no.
But
Yeah,
I've seen them
yeah.
all. I've seen them all.
No.
Mm. I've like just watching. I like just watching these recaps because number one, it tells you
Mhm.
what's going to be important this episode. But there's so many. As you get farther in, so many moments that you missed. Like Nynaeve coming out of the arches, clutching her child, seems like years ago.
It does. It does. And that hurts so much. Like even just to see it hurts so much to see. But I am really happy with Yosha as Rand too. I am excited to see emo Rand.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I am so glad we got to see this.
Yes. And they're gonna have to do a prequel because Luz Theron, for one thing, he's fine. I like that. He is nice to look at. So, and I love how fluid they are with the old tongue.
Mm-hmm. And just to hear it, like just to hear it being spoken was incredible.
Yes. Yeah, because
we are watching season 2, episode 8 of The Wheel of Time and just talking about it, giving our
Yep. So we've got a
Go ahead.
I was gonna say we've got a watch party over on Twitch, or you can queue it up at home for yourself. And we are at the cold open right now with Luz and Ishi having their conversation. I was actually surprised more people didn't complain about how they have changed up how the Forsaken were captured. Because
Yep.
because in the books it was not purposeful. They were there for a meeting. But with this it seems they all were very intentionally captured.
He did? I didn't see him. I missed that. I didn't see him take it off.
Huh. Now, do the Aes Sedai?
I missed things.
I was going to say, yeah. I mean, that's a little detail. And I didn't notice if the male Aes Sedai channeling into him, if they had the same thing, or if that was a denotion of maybe rank among Aes Sedai in the Age of Legends, having the rubber band around their fingers.
I bet Gnome can tell us if they all had them.
Yeah, I'll just have to go back and watch it again. Darn it.
Who noticed? Were there any changes to the intro once we got it back? I meant to go back and watch last season, and I didn't see it.
You know what? I didn't think they were, but it also almost felt new. Like, of course, there's more names. Like, there's more actor names now because some of them were in season 1. But like, it felt familiar, but not the same. But I don't know if it's because I haven't seen it in 2 years, or if they added something.
Gnome says they all had the rings.
They all had the rings. Okay, then it must just have been the Aes Sedai thing.
Oh, see, he knows everything. He keeps us honest.
Yeah. And thank goodness, because I told you this is I treat Wheel of Time like real history. Like I know what happened, but don't ask me what year. Like don't.
Oh yeah, no.
I can tell you what happened. I cannot tell you when or what book.
Oh, it's yeah, because I've said my mom has started reading the books,
Hmm.
and I don't, I am not good enough about knowing where one book ends and the other one starts
Oh
to
yeah.
be able to keep my mouth shut enough.
Now at this beginning, they show the babies walk it. Everybody's a baby to me, but the kids walk it. It's a terrible habit. It's terrible at work because I'm like y'all are adults. I should not be calling y'all babies. But when the kids are walking with the smoke, and then all of a sudden there's all these horses, like where did those babies go? Just get rid of the kids. My only concern the whole time.
I loved this.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
pretty brave as for Dane to, stand up and try to convince his dad, like, hey,
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah. It is.
maybe this dragon guy, he's not so bad.
Now, and I could not remember from the books, but I feel like in the books the questioners didn't go into battle. I always felt like the questioners, because for Valda to be in there, and I don't know if that's just you got so many people you want to they needed it for the storyline that they were going with, like the change to it, because I do not think that Valda from the books would dare be called on a battlefield anymore. Like he did his work in the torture chamber. So the fact that
Yep.
he was out there fighting, it did strike me as odd. But I was like, but watching that stuff, well, that makes sense. It's got to happen this way. But
45, is that the
see,
magic number?
I am 46. I will be 47 soon. And yes, everybody's a child now. Everybody's a kid. And I
Just
mean
earlier
it so.
today. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean it with the most love ever. But I really do try not to say it at work because they all are young adults, so I try not to call them sweetie, like an earshot of their superiors, because I don't want them to look at them as kids, right? This is an adult person you should be paying real money to. They're my kid here, but you don't treat them that way. Now we had
I,
go
I
ahead,
will
Crystal.
say, when this casting first happened, so Lanfear, favorite Forsaken, one of my favorite
Hmm.
women from the entire series, I
Hmm.
wasn't sure that she just had, I don't know, I wasn't sure about the look. I wasn't sure she was what I
Right.
wanted. Oh my God. I have
She's
never
playing it
loved her
so well.
more.
Yes, she's
So
playing it so
well.
well. So when we first saw the pictures, I mean, what did we really have to go by as far as description wise, except the most beautiful woman you've ever seen? Well, that is
Right.
subjective. Like
Yep.
it, but she is playing the role so well. She's not an unattractive woman, but I feel like the crazy has made her more beautiful. Like the fact that
Oh
she's
yeah.
playing it so well, like the level of confidence that she just moves through the world with, but still vulnerable anytime she's got to interact with Rand. Like she's able to turn up
Yep.
that vulnerability, but then turn it right back down. Like, all right, that's it's not working that way. Let me just be crazy. I'll just be crazy and just
She's
do it.
she's so expressive with her eyes too. Like
Yes,
she
yes,
says so much without saying a word. It's
yes.
phenomenal to watch. We've gotten a lot
Because
more of the ways than I thought we were going to. A
yes,
lot more.
yes, we did. And I'm actually surprised. Now, granted, it's probably just that size, and they just keep walking back and forth on. But I do not. Well, because like in Big Bang Theory, it was only 2 flights of steps, so they would just keep going to make it look like they were
Um,
going up higher.
so I don't know that I whined, no, but I was one of
It
those
wasn't.
people that I was like, maybe she's not hot enough, but oh my God. No,
Yeah.
she is. She is.
Which,
I was very wrong.
but I also want everybody watching to keep that in mind. Hot is not how you look; it's how you act. Doesn't
Yep.
matter what you look like. If you walk into the room thinking you're hot, everybody else thinks you're hot. It starts on the inside.
See, this moment, I would have been fine if that was the last we saw Hopper this season. Just leave
But
him
you knew,
outside. I
you knew it
know.
wasn't.
My husband looks over as I'm just like bawling, and he's like, "You," because he's only read the first book and the first few chapters
Oh,
of the second one,
okay.
But he was
Hmm.
like, didn't you? He knows the major plot points because I had to talk to
Right.
somebody about this years before it was popular.
Hmm.
He's like, you knew this was coming. I was like, it's not the
Doesn't matter.
same. It's not the same.
And in your brain, you can kind of block it out. Like, right, when you're rereading it, you don't have to read that part.
Mm. Their scenes together are some of I'm gonna
There's,
miss that.
yeah. Well, I really hope we get him back because he's so good. Like, I want it to be fake. I want the end to be fake, like it was a trick because he knew what she was going to do and how it messed it up. He's like, I got to go underground and plan again. let me
Yeah.
let me go into hiding. Let me go into hiding. Oh, Hopper,
Sorry.
I don't think you shouldn't have watched it, Hopper. Honestly, you
Nope.
shouldn't have watched
Fast
it.
forward. Fast forward.
Yeah. You should not have. You should have saved that to do at Jordan Con with everybody, so you could get all the comfort and support you needed.
Yeah, to go from almost doe-eyed when she's looking up at Rand in the ways
Yeah.
to this
Yes.
confident, just
Just
seductress. She's like, yeah,
yes.
I told him I'd kill you. It's fine.
But her also trying to convince Ishi this that she did it for him and this is the right thing
Hmm.
to do. And him actually kind of acting like he's falling for it. When you know in the back of the head he's like, this bitch. I knew it. I
Yeah.
knew it. Knew I couldn't trust her. I got a plan B though. I got a plan B. Uh, but because both of them are like they're like, oh, we're such good friends and we're doing this and we're gonna get our friend and our lover back and it's gonna be great. But deep down inside, we know Lanford doesn't want to share with anybody
Nope.
at all.
Nope.
Okay, and these babies, where do they go when these forces come? It's insane.
I cannot get over their masks. They
I,
are
I I don't care
terrifying.
for them. But I needed them to have antenna, like something coming up off the top. I think to give me more of a bug feel. This just looks like a scary clown skeleton to me.
It's a monster. Like
Right.
it's
But I just in my head, again, in my head, it was like an insect, like insects have the thing on the top of their head, and I think that would have completely sold me on it on the helmets. Like it's not my favorite part of their costume. Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he did because he knows her
Well, yeah, he's had however many
hundreds,
years to.
just so much, and she probably knows Lanfear better than Lanfear knows Lanfear because
Well,
I mean, with
he
everybody,
knows her
we all
weakness.
think. Right, but we all think we all have somebody who knows us better than we know ourselves that we can't lie to, right? Like we try, and like
Yep.
they know we're lying, and sometimes they just let it go. And this part right here, I'm just like I love my defiant Egwene. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy I didn't have another little girl named her Egwene because I don't think I could have handled an Navi and an Egwene in the same house. I don't know that it would have
That's too
ended
much
well for
strength.
anybody.
You
It's
know.
too much. But just her sitting on the bed like Avi has absolutely given me that look before. Just that, and I've been like, I'm not going to hit you, but I would never hit you. But we got to have a real conversation about your face because you cannot keep
Yep.
doing this.
I have a 7-year-old that gives me faces I don't think I would have dared give even as a teenager.
No, no, not at all. And your feelings are your feelings, and they're valid. But sometimes I don't need to know your feelings.
Yep. How do you feel about the hair? Just with
Oh,
her
I
and
audibly gasped, and I was like, oh. And I was like that. And I said to my husband, that did it. That was the moment when Egwene was like, that was the moment when I think Egwene was like, I'm killing her today. Was like,
the hair was just so it was a much bigger part of the books than they made it in
Right.
the show. And so when that moment happened, I was like, oh, this is her turn. Like nothing is
Yeah.
stopping her from
It's
taking her
right.
down.
That's the thing.
Absolutely nothing.
But the fact that they showed her braiding it back in, I think was like a good reminder to all of us that she was claiming herself as a person, as a woman, and then she just cut it off. Now, in this scene, Fane mentions that the Dark One gave Lanfear everlasting life. So, because I remember when we first saw it, we
Yeah.
thought that, oh, all the Forsaken are able to come back. But then we learned here that this is just something he gave to Lanfear. But I don't know if that was something Lanfear always had or just upon her waking up, right? Because
Yep.
we don't even know if the Dark One knows they're up here scheming. I mean, he should know they're up here scheming, but we don't know that he sent them to scheme. It doesn't seem like it because Ishii always seemed to be rogue. Like here in the books, like he's out here trying to do something that would not be beneficial for anybody.
Yep. Just a time check. We're at the 15, 22, 23, 24, 25. 15 minutes, 30 seconds.
So Hopper, I know you said it was interesting that Fane willingly gave up the dagger. I think he gives it up with the assumption that he's gonna get it back, right?
Yep.
I think he's loaning it because he didn't want to because when Ishii looks down at it, just the way Fane looks at it, he was like, I don't want to do that. But we also haven't really seen him be overtaken by it like Matt was. But and I don't know if that's because Fane is just so crazy and evil anyway. Like it's not having any
Yeah, no,
effect on him.
he's too
He
evil to
seems to be
be.
fine. Yeah, for it to bother him. Now I will say the one thing with this, with them getting the Saldom and putting the dress on her, with them having the scars on their face, I like that would be the key to everybody in Seanchan, everybody that was Seanchan knowing it was a Saldom, right? At least like in the books they didn't have that. Right? So it would have just somebody would have had to known her and recognize her. So but with this, and she does seem truly terrified to go out there because she
Oh
knows
yeah.
everybody's gonna know.
But I think just the whole aspect of them kind of hiding like they did in the books and
Hmm.
disguising themselves as a Soldam was
Yeah.
downplayed in the show for that reason, just because of
Right.
the
Right.
aesthetic differences. They couldn't hide as
Right.
well.
Right.
And even just the whole concept of being found by the one power, I feel like has been a little bit muted. Like that was
It has
huge.
been until the end of this episode.
Yep.
at the
Yep.
at the end of this episode. And I wish they had spent a I wish we had had the time to spend a little bit more time on it. Like because it's obvious that at some point somebody has explained to Egwene what happens in Seanchan. And I'm sure Rena at some point explains the process in Seanchan as how you get to be a Saldom in those times when she's trying to be her friend. Um,
Yep.
but I think it would have been helpful for non-book readers, or maybe it was better. I don't know. I'll have to ask a non-book reader. Like, was it a surprise to you at the end? Like, 'cause I feel like you didn't have time to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Like, you weren't being given the clue. Well, I mean, you see it when she puts the collar on her, but up until that point, I don't think that thought would have occurred. Whereas we get a lot leading up to it. I feel like in the books, he gives us a chance to come to that conclusion on our own
Yeah.
before it's revealed. Like even
These.
that face Matt makes was a very good Matt face. Just like, no,
Yeah. No, I agree. I think a lot of the episodes this season could have been at
yes,
least a solid two, feature length film would have been good.
yes. Well, so
Especially
I go
this
ahead. Go ahead,
episode.
Michelle.
So much happened in this episode that I wish we could have spent more time with. Like there were so
Right.
many big moments and so many things that came together, which is indicative of, like you said, Ebony, the novels themselves.
Yes.
But man,
They would
yeah,
always
this could
speed
have
up
been,
towards the end. Yeah,
yeah,
the POVs would switch a lot faster as you got towards the end of the book. Um, what I originally, like years and years ago when I first started reading, what I really wanted was pretty much the new Marvel formula was a movie and then some shows and then another movie and then a series. and then another, so we
I
could get the big stuff. Let's get some of the little stories here and there, some of the smaller storylines. A big movie for the next big thing.
yep.
Because I mean, to me, that would have been the ideal way to do it. Um,
Can I just say also, this is my perfect beach. Flat,
it is a very
white sand,
nice beach.
nobody around.
But
That's what
that's
I
the
want.
perfect part. That's
Yep.
the perfect part is the because we go to Ocean City and I'm like, Lord, why does everybody know?
Yep.
Ocean City.
Yep. There's a place in Mexico that my parents used to travel that I got to go to that was this like unknown spot in the Riviera Maya, which is like down by Cancun. And now everybody goes there and it's just not as good. Oh, this scene. This was not, see, maybe I'm just too emotional. This scene got me too.
So so when they in a minute when they start to when she puts the water bond back on, and my husband's like, "Are you trying to make this sexual?" I was like, I don't know. When you hush, so I can watch this again. I was like, technically, I think he's supposed to kneel and she's supposed to touch his head, but what? They're trying to show the closeness of it. That's all it is. They're just trying to
Yep.
show how close the bond makes them. That they can feel each other now. Because again, we don't really ever get a true explanation of the water bond. Like even in the first episode, when we see an eye to eye and a water go crazy, like
Yep.
you don't understand what is happening. You don't understand why. You just know they're bonded, but that could mean anything. So I did like the way they the visual of it though.
Yeah. No, it was great. Oh, that's funny. They had to run in after the timeout. Hurry, get down there. No, I see it didn't. Maybe it's just because I know the story. It didn't read as anything like sexual relationship to
So
me. I just thought,
you have to understand that my husband is still the 15-year-old boy I met 30 years ago in lots of ways. Hey, Daniel. So,
I
and it
just
was
thought it was
the face that
beautiful.
Lan does. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that face that Lan does where he grits his teeth. And that's what he was like, are they trying to make this sexual? Like, sir,
Stop it.
let
Stop
me
it.
watch my show.
I love this view with their spears. Like that made me so happy.
Yes. Yes. Now I did say, my husband was like, I'm not sure why they introduced the Aiel so early and Avienda at that. And I was like, they have to make sure they keep getting seasons renewed. They have to keep the interest. We're going to see a lot of fan favorites earlier than we normally did
Yep.
because people have got to, they want people to watch. There's that's the reality of it. I mean, we all have like our secondary and third tertiary favorite characters that we are
Yep.
not going to see. Like we're not going to see them. We're going to see the
Yep.
big names. And I know
I
some people
just
were upset. Go ahead,
go ahead.
Crystal.
Nope.
I was going to say I know
Nope.
some people were upset about Ingtar too.
Uh yeah. That was a rough one for me. That yeah. I kind of
Well,
agree with that.
yeah, they it wasn't done correctly for them. His whole story, like it wasn't like it was in the book, because then that was another big reveal for book readers. But we, it's not the same story in that regard.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's
Yeah,
hard. The way it's explained in the books is so amazing. And I think it's hard to get across without just directly,
right,
which no one
yeah,
likes. Yep.
but
Daniel, we're
yeah,
watching the final episode 8.
yeah. But Arosa, my husband, is a 15-year-old boy in a 45-year-old man's body. So
See, I have a it has. I mean, when I was trying to explain to my mom, she's like, "All right, when's the next season?" I was like, "Go read the books. Just go read the
yeah,
books."
just go
I
read the book.
felt like this episode and like this season in particular just did such a good job of weaving all of the pieces together. They're getting there in a different way, but I believe they're
Right,
going to the same place. We're going
right.
down the same path. It's just we're getting there a slightly different way. And yeah, they had to bring some things in ahead of
Forward.
time.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. and I do love the fact that we have yet to see Egwene weave with her hands. Like she refuses to
Yep.
do it. And I stand by the fact it's because of her interaction with Valda and saw him taking hands off of Aes Sedai. And she was like, "You're not gonna, it's not gonna be me. It is not gonna
No.
be me. I'm not gonna be dependent on my hand."
Well, that's a pivotal moment in your growth as a that's a
You're right.
trauma. That's a trauma
It
memory.
is a
She's
trauma.
not.
They all have PTSD. They all
Yep.
have heavy trauma. So this was the other scene a lot of people were
This is the bit.
upset.
So I avoid the controversy because I just don't. It's if you have. I don't care that someone has a different opinion. I just don't want to hear it because I feel like it's all the same things. But yeah, this
Well,
was a tough one for me. I wanted this to be like it was in the books, but
right,
it wouldn't have made any sense. Rand didn't have the time with Lan and Faldar. Like he hasn't had the time with the sword. We don't see him traveling on the road where he gets that experience. So it wouldn't have made sense for
right.
him to.
Now, some people were like, "Well, the old guy in the sanitarium had been training him." And while I agree with that, I still feel like in the book we get the vibe that he often channels by instinct and does things that he doesn't know how he does it. And if I was in that situation, especially if I hadn't had the training and dude looked like he knew what he was doing, just by the way he pulled the sword out, I'd be like, let me one power it. Go and get I'm trying to get to Wayne. I don't have time for this. But that is just me. Like, but I also say I am willing to see what it is that they are going to give us
Yep.
because for me it's important that they hit certain bullet points. I'm not necessarily that caught up on the path we take to get because I told my husband I was like, this is not how I thought. This is not where I thought we were going to get a lot of this. And it's not the way I thought we were going to get it. But all the stuff that needed to happen for me happened.
Yep. Hey, Roof Mistress. Yeah, my mom just picked up the books after years of me,
Mm-hmm.
begging her to watch it. And she's loved the show. She's absolutely loved the show. She's actually
Yep.
struggled a little bit with the books because she's like, that's not how it is in the show.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I loaned her this right here, which helped
Mm-hmm.
her quite a bit, helped her quite a bit too. And so,
You
yeah,
gave
no,
her the
she's,
cheat codes to
I gave her the
understand
cheat
what's
code.
happening.
Yep.
And I've noticed I have a lot of friends that are non-book readers that love the show, and it's funny to me because these are the same people that I could not get to be interested in the books, right?
Yep.
And part of that is because it's 14 books. It is crazy. It is pretty crazy how thick the books are, and there's 14 of them. And for all of them, they're like, "Oh, I think I'm going to read the books." I was like, "Well, before you read the books, we need to have a conversation
Yep.
because I don't want you to go into the books thinking that it is like the show. They had to change things because they had different constraints in the show. So that is just how I've been prefacing it. Like I want everybody to read it. And then I do because then I want to see how the people who watched the show first and then read the book what their opinion of it is. Because you're always colored by your first experience.
Yep. Daniel, I don't disagree, but I think he's talking about, the battle in the sky.
I
Uh,
like the dragon. I
yeah.
enjoy the dragon, but I like dragons. Um and
Not for everybody, although I had a coworker a few years ago. I don't remember how I convinced her. It was before, I think it was before the show, or maybe when the show just got talked about. She read the entire series in like 5 months, and I was like, that is commitment, my friend. Like, she was young, she
so
was
she just
cool.
I was gonna say she didn't have no kids. She did not have a
No,
child in her house.
no. Rosa, that's funny. I don't have to, yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
my parents, my husband has seen me for years. He was there as like the last few books came out, and I'm locked in my room reading this thing. And he's like, why would
Hmm.
you ever want to read a book that big, let alone 14 books that big?
I mean, because you skim through the descriptions of all the dresses, and that right
Yeah,
there takes 5 books
slashed
out
with
of the series.
slashed with cream.
Yes, and 50 million buttons, and we got to talk about them buttoning every button up the back of the get. It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous, but it is amazing world building. Like, if nothing else,
Yep. No, she was
it,
she was single. She just moved
hmm
to my city, and
so
she
see,
needed,
yeah, see, she didn't have any real friends yet. She didn't have any place to go. She didn't have. Yeah, that's what that was. Now I saw somebody say they really didn't like this actress, but like you're not supposed to. Like you're not supposed to like the character, and I think that's more what they like. I don't know if they meant that her acting was horrible, or they just disliked the character. Like I think her acting matches for what we know about Sura, like just very conceited. Um, I don't know why her voice would be on board, but I guess dark friends hang out together.
Yep. I am still not an I have never listened to a single audiobook in my life. It took
Really?
me I was 30 oh gosh, I was pregnant. I was 36 before I even got a Kindle. I was anti-Kindle. I like my books. I like my old
So,
books. I like to have we have like 13 bookcases. That's not an exaggeration in our house. I love books, and so it took me a long time. And so I think now as a mom of a toddler, I probably need to dive into audiobooks.
so I will say the problem I now have is I have to have it on in every format. So I have the whole series on my Kindle. I have the whole series behind me. I have the whole series on audiobook. So at any point in time, I can pull it up if I need to reference something, no matter where I am. But I like that this was so smart. I was like, look, this is
Yes.
there you go. But
Yep.
Matt, like he figured it out. He figured it out.
I
Um,
struggle. I think in particular, Stephen, yeah, the way they say things in the show is not how I talk to myself about the Wheel of Time for a number of years, and it's been a little hard for me with the pronunciations. So that's maybe
so
why I would hesitate for the audiobooks.
Well, I will say, there is a little Mogedian and Mogideon, and they switch back and forth
Yeah.
in the audiobook between those two. But I did have a chance to go to a signing with Robert Jordan, and he would always do pronunciations of names of words before the signing, like I guess the ones that people
Yes.
always asked him. So that helped. That helped. But it was funny. The first episode with Avienda, Avi made me rewind it so she could hear how Avienda said Avienda as if I had told her the wrong way to say it. Like, I'm gonna check you, mommy, to make sure you've been saying my name right.
Was she gonna
Uh,
change it if you'd been saying it
So,
wrong?
so here's the thing. Normally, she just goes by Avi anyway. Like, she'll introduce herself as Avienda, but she's like, call me Avi. Like, that's
Yep.
what's on that's on all her schoolwork, everything. It's always Avi. Like, but it's so short. It's just three little letters. But see, Fane's crazy, but he's not stupid because
No.
he's gonna roll out. He's like, nope, 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 nope. Not what I signed up for.
He's always looking out for number one. He's
He
gonna take
is.
care of
He
himself.
is. Yep. Now, I do think if Matt keeps the dagger, then that will be why Thane follows them all through season 3.
Yep.
That's just what he did.
Oof.
I
I'll
love that she
miss
just spits it out. But
Yep, I'll
she's
miss seeing these two together. They're
yes,
fabulous
yes,
together.
yes. But I am like, did no other Damani ever in life? I guess because they were get their tongue cut out. But like even the ones they captured over in the Westlands, y'all not gonna spit that out? Like I wouldn't do well. I would not do well as a Damani. I'd have no tongue and no hands
Nope.
because I am absolutely, as my grandfather would say, too slick out my mouth for for me to not lose my
Slick out my
tongue.
mouth. I
I'm
like
very slick
that.
out of the mouth. Yep. A bow is fine. A bow is fine. At least for right now. I don't know. She'll be 12 by the time we get there. Things change, Hopper. We'll have to see what kind of mood she's in when we get there. She's already thinking about what her ribbons are going to say, though.
Aw.
She's very excited.
Maybe I need to make this my first year. I always come up with a reason because it's in the middle of the school year as
I
a
mean,
teacher that I can't go.
yeah, it is rough. It is rough, but I mean, it's gonna be AviCon this year because she's been begging and begging and begging, and she's finally old enough where I can leave. I feel comfortable leaving her in a hotel room for a few hours by herself But also, we have a feral band of tweens now that roam Jordan.
Oh
That
wow,
they're
okay.
so I was like, she can hang out with Aaron and Knox, and then Aaron's got twins, siblings that are
Wow.
Papa. What are they like 2 or 3 now? And lots of times you just see them being pulled in a wagon by a tween. So family friendly event, at least before dark. Jordan
Yeah.
after dark, all the kids have to go to their rooms. I
I
do really
saw
like. Oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead. We keep doing
No, no,
that. No,
you good.
I saw online that people were underwhelmed by a lot of the battles, and I didn't feel that way. Like it felt really big to me. They said it felt small, was the comment I
Well,
saw.
so I will say the Battle of Falm in my head, well, and in the books, it was
Yeah.
like a whole army of Heroes of the Horn against a whole nother army. It wasn't, honestly, this battle seems more like, I can't remember which of the Children of the Light had said, but it was just going to be, it wasn't going to be this a bunch of big armies. It was going to be basically two men fighting.
Yep.
Um, but I like there's a lot of there isn't a lot of fighting in this in the beginning. Like even when the Children of the Light get there, it takes a minute before the people in the town actually start to fight back. They're all hiding, right? So it's a small contingent of Children of the Light and some Seanchan soldiers running around and fireballs coming from the tower. So it's not really battle scenes. It's hits here and there.
It's not a war. No, that's
Yeah.
fair. This moment.
Yes. Good thing parents got those good eyes to recognize him
Yep. Yep.
because he's about to
Hope
get
your
it. All three of those girls were ready.
Yep. Hope your friends can fight. That was
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh yeah, here, let me show you. Let me show you. Yes, I
So
can."
do we think we're gonna see? Oh, I can't say that yet because we're only in books 1 or 2. Never mind. I'll say it later. Massima out here kicking butt.
Did you know, like when Egwene saw it on the ground, did you know already what was gonna happen?
So with the first time I watched it, I didn't notice it
Oh,
at
really?
all.
Okay.
Yeah. The first time I watched it, I didn't notice it because sometimes when you're trying to see everything, you miss everything because you're looking for too much. The first time I didn't see it, and then the second time I watched it was my husband's first time, and he was like, "She doesn't even have a bracelet on." I'm like, "She's got a bracelet on." She
Yep.
was slick with it.
For a moment when it didn't do anything, I was like, "Oh no.
Oh
Oh
no.
no. Oh shit."
But I do like that they gave this revelation to Egwene and let her talk it out because I think it's going to be important later on that it shows that she is smart. You know what I mean? Like she can put things together quickly because that's going to be important.
You're saying it's like it's bigger in the show than it should be?
Yeah, I think that's what he was saying that it was a smaller town. I think
Yeah. Well, I just
it
think
was.
I'm a history nerd, and so just the way battles were fought back then, that's probably more realistic to what it would have been than these huge armies laying siege. It usually was, a
Yeah, I
small
mean,
contingent going in.
yeah, and they're not out in a wide open field. Like they had to go into a city that is basically on a beach. So you've only got one area you can really attack from. It's not like they could surround the city and all that kind of stuff. And then this part too, where Gwayne's like, I might feel it, but if I go, you going with me. Gwen is
Yep.
determined.
I think because we didn't get to spend as much time with her in captivity, they did a really excellent job of showing like her strength.
Hmm.
It was a little spoon fed to us, like when what's her name, Megan, at times was like, "Oh, you held out longer than me," but I thought that was
Right.
so
Yeah.
important to where she's going, where her story's
Yes.
going, that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
she gained so much from this.
Yeah. Which is also why I'm okay with her having holding the shield. Yes,
Yeah.
she does. She absolutely does. But that is also why I am okay with her shield holding for as long as it did. Because I will say, people were acting like she was standing up there with the shield and wasn't being bothered. Like every time something hit, it was breaking her down. Like
Yep.
it's not, you know what I mean? Like she was feeling every single one. And in the grand scheme of things, she did not hold that shield that long.
True.
Right? It's not like she gave Rand 20, 30 extra minutes.
Yeah.
Poor thing. I just wanted to pick her up and hug her because I am a mom,
Poor
and I'm like,
kid.
this poor
Poor
baby.
kid.
You have her
Mm.
mama right here. And it's so I'm like that with the football players at work too. Like when they have a bad game, I'm like, oh, that and cut day when they come in and find out if they're going to be
Oh,
on the main team. I feel like I should make cupcakes. Like, are y'all okay?
we're, there's not a lot to do in the Midwest, and so everybody here is a football fan during the fall,
Yeah.
and it's
Hmm.
a stark realization when suddenly every single person on that field playing is years and years younger than you. You're like, oh wow,
Yeah.
they're
Can I
just
tell you?
they're
Yes,
babies.
our first round draft pick for this year is the same age as my son. And Avi's favorite player is a year older than my oldest. And I'm like, I don't like this, guys.
Ah, this the smile from Matt. His smile is
Yes,
perfect. It is the
it is.
perfect just
It is.
grin.
So I do like when Rand is like, I came here to save you, but it looks like you didn't need it. I appreciate that.
Yep. Yep. I also like him with the shaved head better.
Yes,
Can I
so
say
much
I
better.
like it.
So
I
much
like it.
better. I like it a lot. Yeah. And I think it's probably because it makes them look older. Because in theory,
Mhm.
they should be the age of my son too, and that's not cool. So
Yep.
I need him to be older.
Mm. Just the fact that she goes to strike first, like,
Yeah, yes, because she's also very much in defensive mode, right? Like she's showed her weakness when she thought it was safe and when Rand was there. But just as soon as when she needed to fight again, she's like, I gotta fight. I mean, and that is Green Aja. I gotta
yeah.
fight, I gotta fight. Oh, you're right. You're right, Hopper.
Yep. Sorry, see, that's where I struggle. I need to get
Yeah.
back into my
I don't know what
reread.
happened. Yeah. I also think I do like how Yosha is portraying being shielded because it looks like he's struggling. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I feel like that's one of the harder things is like I guess that is the acting, right? Is to act like something is physically happening to you that is not happening
Hmm.
and make it believable.
Did you see the helmets on those guys on the back, Ebony,
Mm-mm.
that were on the
But
ship? They were almost much more bulbous. Like they had a much bigger crest on their
huh,
head. It seemed more insect-like than the soldiers that are down there
okay.
fighting. Like they were kind of
Maybe
a
it's
much more
Death Watch
stronger.
Guard.
Yep.
Yeah. We haven't. Oh, never mind. I can't say that either. Doggone it. I need a list of rules before each show, just to be like this. I can't say.
The cliff notes from each book, so we know
Yes.
where
Yes.
where they
Now, what
end.
did you think about the way the horn looks? Yeah.
That's something
Yeah.
I didn't
Same.
love. I
Yeah.
didn't
Same.
love. I don't know
I
why
was
it couldn't have
like,
looked like a traditional horn with the silver
yeah. Well,
inlay. Yeah.
so it was according to the books, it was from before the Age of Legends, which technically would be right now. So why it's not a trumpet, I don't know. Like it looks more like something that would have been in the Age of Legends, and maybe that's what they're going to go with here because
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to get way into there's the seven. seven spokes in the wheel, and this is future past, and like so they're just making it see because we've only seen two ages.
Yeah. It was just almost it's awkwardly gold too. Just like a
And so it
little
doesn't look like real gold. I don't. It looks.
no.
It, I felt like it would have been smooth
Yep. Yep.
and just. I think somebody said it looked like a picture from like Crate and Barrel, like a water picture.
My husband asked if it was a water bottle. He's like, "Is
Yeah,
that their
and
is that fancy water bottle?"
so that. Yes, Steven, it is from the age before the age of legends, but that's our age because it's our age, age of legends, in the time in the book. So, and I do like how what's her name? Elaine. I like how Elaine is playing Elaine because at no point have I got pompous princess from her, and I was that was never my favorite thing. She
Yeah.
had some moments in the book where she
Yeah.
was very much spoiled. Um, and she seems to be able to read the room
Yeah.
better. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
she's like, okay, this
okay.
is not the time or the place. Don't pay attention to this. Elaine's like this is not the time or place. I also noticed he was reaching towards an axe though.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Mm.
Look away, Hopper. Look away.
Yeah, don't Hopper. You just you turn it
Don't
off.
watch this. Don't watch this part. Mm.
Now I did say to my husband, I think from this point on, parents' eyes should stay gold because this
Mm-hmm.
was the first time he let the wolf completely take over, almost willingly. So I
Oh.
don't. He's got lovely brown eyes, but I don't want to see him again. They need to be gold.
Mm.
He was jumping to get the stars.
It was yeah, no, it was beautifully done and that
It was.
the 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 dog, the dog actor was great.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Rosa. 46, 31, 32, 46 minutes and roughly 40 seconds. Well, Daniel, I think Perrin's his pack right now. Perrin is
Yeah.
his brotherhood.
Yep.
No, I bawled like a baby the first time, and I don't think I stopped crying until it was over. I think there's been certain moments this whole since it started in season one, things that I had pictured in my head for so many years, and even
Hmm.
if they weren't exactly what I wanted to see, just to see them on screen were just overwhelming for me.
Yeah. So I think I did well with not crying because I knew what to expect. Like we went to see the creator Saturday. I cried all during that, but I also did like the emotions. I couldn't prep for the
Yeah,
emotions, right? For
yeah.
this, I could prep. Like I knew it was coming at some point. I was still hurt. I teared up a little bit, but I was able to woman up because usually I cry. Like I still can't watch Coco. I
No, God, no, no.
the beginning of Up, I refuse. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna watch the beginning of Up because all I think about is this me and Brian, and then I'm done. So
You know what it is for me? That my 2-year-old loves Toy Story 3, and it's the end of Toy
no,
Story 3 when they're going into the
no,
fire. I cry every
no,
time. It's
no.
awful.
Now
Who
all these
else?
heroes. I'm glad we've got Uno,
Yeah. Who else
but
we got?
also I was gonna say I don't know any of these people. Like who are these? I'm terrible. I'm terrible.
It's all right, Hopper. No, I'm sorry. Gnome can name them
Forgetta.
all. He'll
Yeah, I
have them
know
in
Forgetta.
order.
I
He'll have
know
them in order.
Una.
Oh,
But I'm just like because honestly, it wasn't something I paid a whole lot of attention to though. Just I was
yeah.
cool. Here's the horn. Got it. Good.
Yeah, who's she supposed to be? Hmm. Could
I
be.
just
I hadn't
assumed it
thought
was
about that.
Aquaman. Assumed it was Aquaman. Hey, it's there. Heroes of the Horn. He was a hero at some point. So
Daniel, if I could take back one moment of this season, it would be Uno's death. That hurt my
yes,
feelings on
it
so
did.
many levels. I
So
was
that one.
so unhappy with that. I was so unhappy with
So
that.
that one there were, I don't know if they were tears of sadness or anger or shock, because that was not something I had emotionally prepared myself for. That wasn't supposed to happen. That messed me
No.
up. I'm like, what are
I
we
just, no. Okay, see, he's got us.
doing? Okay, there we go. I,
Or goes Eagle Eye.
you know what? I should probably, it would make sense to just look up who the heroes of the Horn are. That
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'll do
Probably.
that
It's
tomorrow.
probably. Mm,
And then get a freeze frame of that, and then I can. And like this, again, this was not exactly how it happened in the books, but here's it. Look, Hopper was taken from us. Perrin was upset. Perrin killed some white cloaks.
yep.
Those are the things
Yep.
now. And but Draco does die at Palm, doesn't he?
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
battle. And it's just
Uh,
Dane is crazy. Or and somebody tells Dane that it was Perrin. I thought in the book that Perrin was the cause of it.
how do you feel about how they did the Heroes of the Horn? Like the way they move, the way they're.
Actually like it. I mean, it's very much what's the last one of the Lord of the Rings where they eat the dude where Aragon brings him on the
Yes.
ship.
Return of the
You know
King.
what? Yes, I cannot think of it in my life. So it very much felt like that. Like there should be here's the horn. It should be that they can interact with you, but you can't touch them. Right? That's the whole point. Because what's the point of bringing back a spirit army if they can get hurt?
Yep.
Right. So like the shield worked, Uno's shield worked to protect them, but they can't get Uno. So that was fine. Like it made it a little distracting to watch.
Yep.
But like for what they were, it seemed the appropriate move, because if not, it would have just been regular people fighting. Right? And then I feel like it wouldn't have looked as cool. But
Yeah.
also I'm not
I
go ahead.
I pictured him more misty, like more kind of
Right.
foggy than
Yeah.
that. But I don't know how you do that with.
Oh well, I mean, but they did it in Return of the King, but those were basic. They were ghosts, right? So,
Yeah.
like the
Yep.
sword, everybody's sword could hit each other's sword, but they couldn't actually hit the. So it could have been done. I feel like the colors wouldn't have been as vibrant, and I did appreciate all the differences in the costumes to give
Yep.
you that feel that these were people from across time.
Mm.
I can't imagine anybody like I can't even in my head think of a good Moradin. Like just he just has to come back as Ishi. Like I wouldn't be upset if we don't get Moradin if we get Ishi back with this
Yeah.
actor, right? Like just have it that yes, this I mean it was already an illusion. There's no reason that it couldn't be another illusion.
No, that was the first thing I said. Oh,
You say hi. All right, get out of here though, because she hasn't watched any of it, so she doesn't get to see the end.
hi. Mm.
And I will say, I even like the way that Min's vision came true, but she kind of misinterpreted it, right? Because she said, "You kill him, you stab him." Um,
Oh, hey.
hey, Rob. Um, but he did get stabbed. Like Matt is the one that stabbed him. But I like that it shows that there is some that her visions aren't certain or aren't as always what they seem.
Yep.
She just does such a
I
good like pissed off face.
She does. You know what I attribute it to? They say like, you know, people lifting cars off their babies. Like when
Adrenaline.
you
It's
have that
adrenaline. Yeah.
that much in you to fight for and everything these
Yeah.
poor kids have been through,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you could. you can see she is struggling. Is my point.
Yep.
It's it's not like she's standing strong. It's not like other scenes in the book where there's two people staring each other down and it's an even match,
Yep.
right? It is obvious that he is going to get the best of her. But we also have to remember, like, this has happened simultaneously as he is still. So I think there's something else that messes me up, at least on shows, is because the all the action is happening at the same time, but you can only see one scene at a time. So what
Yep.
feels like it was 15, 20 minutes was actually like three
Yep.
or like 5 minutes, but it seems longer because this is all happening at the same time.
Yep.
So, like I
This
said, I don't think she really held that shield that long.
this was what I wanted from Land the entire season. Now it makes
Yeah.
sense when he didn't have the water bond that he was like a
Hmm.
step slow and a step behind, but
Right.
I was like, yes, this is him.
Yes.
This is the
Yes.
guy I wanted all season long.
Yes. Yes. He is
Catching
whooping.
the arrow.
Yes. Yes. However, Moraine this is the most dramatic channeling I've ever
Yep.
seen in my
Yep.
life. Like she's getting low with it, like just
I found
but
myself, what is she gonna do? She can't shield them all. I was like, what is her plan? And then I saw the weaves of fire, and I was like, ooh.
but I will say I like that they do make the current Aes Sedai's weaving so dramatic and so different from when Damane are weaving fire dolphins,
Fire
but
dolphin.
also from when Lanfear weaves. Because anytime Lanfear weaves, she just kind of flicks her hand, right?
Yep.
It's just a flick of the hand to show that she is so much more talented and you know what I mean, just to show the breadth of knowledge. Like there's an ocean of knowledge between what Aes Sedai know and what Aes Sedai from the Age of Legends knows. But Tom did predict this. Tom did predict that Matt was going to stab him and it was going to be with the dagger and that would be his wound on the side.
That's fair. No, that's fair too. He had felt a step behind the whole season, just like he was just off, which, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Also, the way this wound looks healed, it's disgusting. It's so gross.
It is, but
It's
it's
real
supposed
gross.
to be, right? Like based
Yep.
on what it's going to become. Like it should. I mean, and it was the dagger. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a regular sword. But it's so dramatic. I never in my life. Is this because she's related to royalty? Is this why she's so dramatic?
No, I think you're right. I think it also shows the effort that it's taking her
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
this.
yeah.
It's just immense. But yeah.
But yeah, I'm just like, because Lanfear would have blinked. She would have done the I Dream of Genie, and everything would have exploded. Uh,
Is it link,
meanwhile,
blink, not?
Moraine needs, yeah. Meanwhile, Moraine needs to lay down. She's
Yep.
done this. She's like, I need to lay down. I need a drink. It's worse than being healed. And like even the release of the shield, like how Rand reacts to it. Like I'm very happy with the way he did that. But I do feel like that look that Ishi gets when he sees Rand is up. This is just me hoping that he decides he's got to fake his death because he doesn't fight. He knows he's going to be reborn again, right? If he lets him kill him,
Yeah.
but he still doesn't.
I just am always
And
amazed, like, how much acting these guys had to do with things they couldn't see. Like, how,
so that so when people want to kind of talk about, he got his brand though. I'm glad he got his brand, and I'm also
yep,
glad it wasn't in the center of his hand because I didn't like that visual in my head.
yep,
Um, but like when people talk about superhero movies and Marvel actors and it's not real acting, I'm like, you realize none of that's there. You
yep.
realize it's all green. Like
There's like a green
there's
ball stick that these people are
right,
acting too. Yeah.
right. So that to me that takes a lot. Is it theater acting? No, but it absolutely takes some level of acting and imagination.
Okay, I do have to say, I didn't like him turning to ash. That felt a little too vampire-y to me, the
It
way he
it
just,
did,
I didn't love it.
but that is why part of me is hoping that part maybe was an illusion on his part, because were I the Dark One and found out if she was up here trying to take control and break stuff, I would actually absolutely send him right back as him as a punishment. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're going back. You're going back and you're doing what I told you to do and no more of this rogue stuff.
Yep. This was another moment I didn't see coming. I didn't
But
even
but
here, I was like, what's she doing? What's she
well,
doing?
Lanfear did tell her to raise. Now, I didn't think it was going to be a dragon. I thought it
Yeah.
was going to be the dragon banner because she said
Yeah.
raise the banner when it's time. This is the last thing Lanfear says before she pushes them through the way gate. And Moraine looks confused, like what banner? But in the books, she did give Rand the dragon banner that they found. So not the same, but kind
Mm.
of. I do think this last scene is my favorite scene with them all up there because I
Yeah.
feel like in the books we don't get enough of that.
Yep.
Like all I ever wanted in the book, so often in the books, is like I wish they could just all be together, and they're never all together. But the kids hang out.
I think, yeah, Rob, I think that's where a lot of people have struggled is like we know the one power system so well, or at least we think we do, that these kind
Hmm.
of loose rules that the show plays with can be
Well,
frustrating.
I mean, look how long it took for us to learn the one power rules. Like it literally took
Yep.
us 14 books
Yep.
to learn the one power rules. They and you know what? Some of the rules don't always make sense because Jordan look Massima looking crazy. Um, just some of the rules
Yeah.
just didn't necessarily make sense because Jordan was still working things out as he was writing, right?
Yep.
Um, so I can completely understand when all you know in the very beginning that you've got one season and you've got 8 episodes, you're not gonna go make it real. That you're gonna do shortcuts.
Yep.
Like because even now we know we're getting season 3, but if it is not even better than this, we might not get a season 4. So they're just trying to get
Yep.
as much out there as they can. And it sucks. Like that aspect of it absolutely sucks. And this part at the end, I was so excited.
Yep.
And she's just so pleased with herself. She's so pleased.
So happy.
So happy I did it. I did it. It all went exactly the way I wanted it to go. And then here's Crazy Pants.
Yeah.
But just look, that look on her face was like, oh no.
Yep.
And this actress is so good at crazy. Like, I don't know, I'd let her watch my
Mm-hmm.
kids. Like, are you that good of an actress? Are you a little bit crazy? Like, which one is it? But I
I love her
saw on,
voice too. Just the
yes,
way she
well,
speaks.
somebody, I think it was on Twitter, was like she was giving Major Bajork, Bjork, Bajork, the
Bjork.
singer. Bjork,
Bjork.
there we
Yeah.
go. Bjork vibes. And I was like, that's another one where I'm like, I don't know if you're doing this on purpose or you can't help it. Like,
Mm.
and I'm glad they kept the spider web theme with her
Yep. Yep.
because they didn't have to, right? You know what I mean? Like that, little things like that. I feel like are for us as book readers.
Yep. Yep. Mm.
Hopper, I don't know who this actress is. Thank you, Matthew and Noman Garden,
Yep.
and the fact that she
Mm.
smells her like that.
Yeah.
That to me is top
Yep.
tier. Like, this is what you do if somebody is acting weird to you. Smell them; they will back up. I don't care how crazy they're trying to play. just randomly smelling people, I don't
Yep.
know. You don't know what to do with that.
Mm. That is a woman who knows she is screwed. She messed up.
Yeah, yeah, she did. But but her failing, I think, is that she thinks people, I guess, won't cross her because she knew those were in there, and like
Yep.
she really thought that he would not turn them loose.
Oh, she walked into that room thinking she now, they were going to the bottom of the
Like,
ocean.
right,
Deep, deep
right,
in the
like the
ocean.
and I love the fact that she thinks she is the smartest, right? Like she does think she is the smartest, and she's not because she is too close to the situation to always
Yep,
make
she's got,
rational decisions.
yep. She does not always think with her head in this
No,
situation.
she does not. She's like, no, me and Rand can be together, and I'll get rid of everybody, and we can go back to my end in Karian.
Forever and ever.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hope it's not 2 years. I don't, the strike is
yeah.
definitely probably going to delay things for us, but hopefully not quite
Well, I
as
know
long.
they
Hopefully
had
less.
already been filming
Yeah.
season 3, so I'm hoping a year, maybe. I'll let them
I,
have a year.
I
Like,
hope it's not 2 weeks. So I
but
had some
yeah,
pictures
yeah,
we'll look at
pictures.
here too. Okay. So this was from the cold open.
Hmm.
What did you think about this? See if I can zoom in any. Oh, it's
So
not. Did
I
I?
I liked it. I liked it because since we are going a different route where each of them were sealed into a different seal, I liked seeing how it was done, right? Because even in the books, we never really see we just hear talk about it, about what happened. Because that was one of the more abstract things in the book that you try to imagine. Like you put the seals on his You put the dark one, you put a seal on the dark one, but there's
Yep.
people under the seal, and some are at the top. It's like it was very hard, at least for me. But I also have
Hmm.
issues with spatial reasoning. But I do like I don't know how long an inch is. I don't know how long, far a mile is. That it doesn't work in my head. So to me, to try to imagine this weird space, but you have physical seals that the Armerlin was supposed to keep an eye on and lost. Like I don't. So with this, it makes sense that they are trapping basically him into this big thing. That to me made more sense.
Yep. They're also intricate in the show too, which I really like. They all seem to have their own personality. Like I'm sure if we
Yes.
took stills and studied them, you'd
Hmm.
maybe even be able to attribute them to the certain
You
Forsaken.
you can. I think another episode Tom pointed it out that you can see like you can tell whose seal is who is
Yep.
whose. So
Yep.
so I did like that, and Hopper did point out how clean the
Yep.
weaves were. Yep. So that is true. And I'm
Well,
sorry he's gonna have to be crazy. Just,
yeah.
but the cute ones always are. So,
That's the truth. I like the White Cloak, the costuming here. I know we talked about
yeah,
it some earlier in the season, that it's not that pristine white all the time, too.
yeah, because
That
that's
doesn't make any
ridiculous.
sense for battle. Yeah, no one's
Doesn't
gonna
make any
clean
sense at
that.
all.
No. I just thought this was, it seems to me in the show, I mean, I know from the books too, he's kind of just been grandfathered into this position and he maybe doesn't have the same level of belief that they
Yes,
all have. So I love that he's like,
they
hey,
don't respect
Dad,
him.
no, that
Yeah,
dragon guy, maybe
yeah,
he's not so bad.
yeah. Also,
Yeah,
I don't want to go into battle. I don't want kids getting killed
no,
today.
yeah, I love their armor too,
Yes.
the gold and the armor. Yeah, no, it's great. We can't say enough good things about the costuming this season.
Yeah.
Lanfear's
No.
boots
The
are my
Yes.
favorite thing from this season.
Yes.
Ah, There she is.
Just that look, just like you, she always looks like she's plotting. Like when she doesn't think anybody's looking at her, she has that face like she's plotting something, or something she's plotted has about to come to fruition, and it's gonna be so good. Like,
Yeah, I mean, this is so predatory. Like, I saw this look
hmm
on her face. Would run far away from this. But she
yeah,
does, this actress in particular, like, she just does so much with her. It's like from here
very
up
express.
with just her
Yeah, yeah.
eyes and her face is absolutely gorgeous. I meant to star that. We were talking about the ways earlier. It does
hmm
not look anything like I pictured from the books.
No,
And I kind of,
it does not.
that, it's, I don't know. It's
So
stormier than
I,
I pictured for sure.
yeah, I mean, another thing I'm still not super happy about is the way gates. Like I've come to terms
Yeah.
with it,
Yeah.
but that's not. It's 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 not what we. It's not what it was described as. That's fine. But
A
I
lot of
don't
the
like. I was just
sorry,
gonna say
go ahead.
I don't like that they're so big and so easy to find because they were supposed to be right outside of the steadings. The
Yeah.
steadings weren't necessarily easy to find because it was a place for them to find refuge.
It's a change I don't understand yet. Like it bothers me a lot. And so I'm sure there's maybe a reason we don't get yet, like some of the
I
other things. Like I
I
just
I
yeah.
I mean it could be more just of an explanation reason. Though I think in the first season, Loyal does talk about how they used to be green, how they didn't always look like this. So maybe
Yeah.
they will go into it in a later season. I don't think we're gonna get a bunch of settings though. I think maybe there'll be one setting that that's where they all during the breaking maybe they all congregated in this one steading, which because there certainly was not a steading on that beach that didn't make sense,
Yeah.
but there was a way. So and that is channeling that opens it and not the lead because
Yep.
I wanted it to be because that was why they needed him, and now look at her, she's so
Yeah.
innocent and
Just the
vulnerable.
dichotomy between the two faces. Whoop,
Yeah,
whoop. Oh look.
like
I
yeah,
love
just
him.
touch me, take
I
care
love
of
him
me.
so much. Ah, there
There's
she
Avi.
is. There she is.
And I
I
know
don't
I've said it before, and I'm totally biased, but I'm glad that my biracial Avienda gets to see a biracial Avienda on screen. Like that is totally selfish on my part.
I liked that we've gotten to see them fight more too,
Hmm
um, as the season's gone on. I'm really excited for where this is going. Oh, I think we can
Yes.
fix this. Yeah, no, I would have been fine. You just leave little Hopper out there and we don't see him again until season three. It would have been
Well,
great.
he
Would have been
tried.
happy.
He tried to, but Hopper was taking care of his pack mate.
I know. I know.
And these two crazies
Yeah.
out here
Yeah.
plotting.
I love the architecture here. So I don't know, Ebony, if
Yeah.
you know this, in my first life, as I call it, when I first graduated college as a
hmm
young person, I was an
hmm
interior designer. Like that was
Were
my
you?
yeah, yeah.
Oh
Before
my
I taught
goodness.
STED, I was an interior designer, and so I am always like, I want to reach out and
Looking
touch
at.
it. I like,
Oh yeah,
oh,
yeah,
I
yeah,
love it.
yeah.
I love it. It's beautiful. The sets this season were absolutely incredible.
Everything. Like they stepped everything up. I feel like they almost said, "Look, we got. It wasn't gonna be this good, but the playing times happened. We got to step it up a little bit so they know we're not playing. Like that. Like so they know that we. So, well, so I mean, almost they. I know that they heard and saw some of the
Yep.
disappointments we had, right? And we
Hmm.
understand what happened. But this season, I think it was really important for them to go above and beyond with a lot of things just
Yep.
to make us all feel better, right? Just to make sure we tuned into season three because and they just and hopefully Amazon will give them some more money.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Aw,
Yeah,
love.
yeah.
Let me see. Oh, yeah, I can't wait for where his story's going.
I
I hope we
I
get
do want to
more of
see
what
Crazy
happens in the
Thane.
books.
Yeah,
Yep.
I do want to see Crazy Thane.
He was deranged in a different way in the show.
Hmm.
Like he was a little less, so I don't know if he's gonna get to that point or if his story's taken a
Well,
different.
I do like we are I know that he's crazy because at the dark friend social, everybody else keeps their face covered up and he just takes his off like he doesn't care. And I'm like, sir, this is a secret meeting with secret people. You're not you're not supposed to let them know it's you. Um, but I do think he there's going to be the him chasing Matt to get the dagger back.
Mm,
And
okay.
I think that might be what drives him a little, being away from the dagger, I think will make him crazy. Because I think having the dagger, because even in the books, he found comfort in having the dagger. It's when they
Yep.
took the dagger that he was tracking the dagger. He's tracking them through the dagger, and it was almost painful for him. So I do think Matt's going to keep it for a little bit, and he's going to track them through it, and then that's when we'll start to see more of crazy things. Plus, his master's gone now. So what is he going to do? Is he going to go find Lanfear, or one of the other Forsaken going to come and take him? Does he think he can take Ishi's like he is just out on the board now. He's just
Yep.
out there.
Well, we talked
Sir,
about
this is
earlier in
a
the
Wendy.
episode. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
He's
Rob putting there,
he's
sir.
oh,
This
that's
is a
funny.
Wendy.
No, he's looking out for number one.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see where that goes. Oh, there's my
and then
moment. See, this was so beautiful.
it was because they finally stopped fighting. Mom and Dad finally stopped
Yep.
fighting. They both admitted they were both a little bit wrong, and now they're back together and can protect the kids.
The babies.
Now, I do know that there were some
Oh,
complaints online about Ayula being too short, and she's not. She's actually an inch taller than Avienda is in the books. It's just the actresses playing Bane and Cheyenne are
are
Amazon women.
they're very
They are very
tall.
tall. They're very tall. Um, but I was just like, see, that's just making a judgment. Obviously, you can tell those other two women are tall. And
Well, yeah,
Avienda's not
there's
that much shorter. Yeah, she's not
yeah.
that much shorter than them. She's just shorter than them. So
I just thought this was really beautiful.
yeah,
Seeing
I
all
was gonna
the
say it's a very
ships.
pretty shot. Yeah.
Mm, that look on her face.
Yeah, she's just
I'm
like, no.
still, yeah, I'm ready. I am a little ready to be done with the binkies.
Yeah. I
Um,
actually like Rand in this look. It's given Aiel.
no, it definitely is. I want this picture I brought up, and we kind of already talked about it. Just the controversy with this scene when Turok like gets into position. I was like, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get, the moment we've all,
he
waited
and
for. And
he pulled an Indiana Jones
yep,
on us,
yep,
and it is what it is. Like, I'm sure we will get magnificent fight scenes. I will say, I was curious as to how this man was going to do it with these nails. I did kind of want to see that because I don't wear my nails half that long when I get them done, and I
mm-mm.
can't. I have issues with lots of things. I can't text on my phone because my nails are in the way. It's like a whole sword fight. So
Okay,
that
see,
would have
look,
been interesting.
I wish I could zoom in. These guys' helmets are kind of the same. They're that more
Okay,
bulbous.
they are. So yeah, I'm gonna say those are Death Watch guards because they're with one of the blood. They're not just out. But
Yep,
yeah, it does. It looks almost like
that's more insect-like to me.
that. That is more insect-like. Yeah,
Oh, this was beautiful. I
it
loved
is.
this.
Look, even with the taint, and I like that the taint is so distinct. You know what I mean? Like you can absolutely see it. I
Yep,
can't remember if it moves a little bit slower than the rest of the weave.
I think so. So the
See that
train's coming. Yep,
I do think it's coming because because remember in the books they've got their little mountain hideout. Perrin is with them, Loyal's with them, Min is with them. They're in their little mountain hideout, and then I think Trollocs attack, and then Rand runs off, and then they're all chasing him because that's when Perrin meets Gaul and Fael
I'm just
in the
saying,
same little
Uno's
town.
Uno's supposed to be there too.
Yes,
He's
yeah,
supposed to
yeah,
be
yeah.
there too.
Yes, yeah, you're right. Massima. Massima's there too. They're all there. Because it was after he proclaimed himself, they kind of went into hiding. I think we're going to
Yep.
get a scene similar to that. It might not be that exact scene, but I think that is the time where he's going to have time to train with Lan, because I think
Yep.
Moraine's going to come collect everybody and take them off somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think is that when she also goes fishing? They go fishing in the lake and they're catching fish with their hands, and Moraine is catching a whole bunch of them. There is that one scene.
No,
I think
that
it's
was
later on
earlier,
though.
I thought.
Was
Was
it
it later?
earlier?
See,
I don't
I don't
know. I
no,
just
no.
remember I just remember thinking to myself, she is using the one power to fish. There's no way these fish are just coming to her.
When she rolls up her
Rolls
sleeves
up
and
her
she's
sleeves.
sticking her hands.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Just all of them. Just all of them. And this actor, she did such a great job. The way she would switch from being nice to like, all right, I'm done with it. You pushed me too far so quickly.
All right. Fishing is later
Okay.
on in the chase. I was wrong. Yeah. Just I wanted to do a side by side of these because
Yeah. So I'm mad that I like both the hairstyles for the Damani and for the Saldom. And Brian was like, "Could you braid Avi's hair like Egwene's?" I'm like, "I could, but I can't because she's not a Damani.
yep.
I can't. I like the style, but I can't. I can't in good conscience do it. So sorry.
Yeah, I think they'll need more money before we see
Yeah. I don't
too
know if we're
many of
gonna
these
get
things
a.
because you don't want it to look cheesy. Like you that takes you
You
out of the
don't.
whole.
But we're not gonna get to see all the shadow spawn. I don't think, because they have to make wise choices with their money. And we don't, do we want them to use money on effects for a dark hound, or do we want them to use money maybe for good locations to make the weaves more intricate? I don't like, I want them to use money so we get Calendor. I want them to use money
Yep.
so we get, so that we can go into the waste and see Rudion and the red door. Like there's, I still want us to get the Elfin. Like
Yep.
I still want that.
Elfin. Yep.
Yeah. So I still want that, and if that means that they're going to take the Darkhound money and put it towards that, then I can let the Darkhounds go. Now, essentially, Darkhounds might not be that difficult to do. I don't know because that is not my wheelhouse. But I'm just saying we're absolutely going to have to give up some things if we want to get other things. It's just
Yep.
it
No,
wasn't
I
written to
agree.
be a shot by shot. It's not. Game of Thrones was much more written to be a shot by shot. Like I think George was like, "Yeah, I'm putting this on the screen eventually. Let me write this in a way that will translate a little easier." Where Jordan wasn't thinking about it when he wrote Will of
But
Time.
that's also why he can't finish his books now.
Yeah, no, I don't even want to talk to him because,
I
sir,
know. Yeah.
Jordan died and still finished his books. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Really ridiculous. Her face here, she was gonna
She was
fuck him
gonna
up.
light him
She had
up.
no, she
Yeah,
was not
no, if it was
like
the last
he's
thing she
Rand-
did,
Rand's looking real intense, but that look on her face, she was
yeah,
not
she is.
messing around. She's like, I've had a binky in my mouth, my hair's been cut off, I've been tortured, I've been beaten. Yeah, no, time to
Yeah,
die.
yeah. Like, and I know you're the cause of
Oh,
all this.
I do love their ships. It makes me.
They
Are
they
we
are very pretty.
are we full spoilers right now? Yes.
Yes, yes, full
I hope
spoilers.
I can't wait to see the sea folk. Like I'm just really
Yes,
that
yes, and I
this.
know, yeah, but I know a lot of people are like, they should cut the sea folk. Like before, when we were all making predictions, everybody wanted the sea folk cut, and I like the sea folk personally, but I do
Yep.
think it is important to show, like we're gonna have Dail and Rand being their savior, the Westlands, Rand being the dragon. I think adding an additional culture and him also being their, I think that's important for the story,
Yep.
right? So I hope we do get them. And also,
I,
I mean, I don't know that they have
we'll
to be
have to
naked.
get more We'll have to get no. I mean, we don't. We'll have
I
to
mean,
get
they
more
can be naked.
seasons.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
to
yeah.
get them in. I think it'll
We
be
we will.
hopefully when, not if, when we get more seasons.
Yeah,
Oh,
but like
here she
I
is.
don't, yeah, with all this drama. I don't think the Sea Folk are not enough of a fan favorite for us to get them early. That's not going to be
No.
until they have locked in, like multiple seasons locked in, and then they'll throw in those elements. you might not get Fail. Because she's so divisive amongst the
No,
fandom. Like you either love her or you hate her. Like there's personally Fail's alright. Like she's young. I mean, originally she was a lot. I think I want to say when they originally she was like 14, with Perrin being like 20, and then they aged her up
hmm
to like 16, 17, more Egwene's age. But
Yep.
the way she acted did fit more to a 14-year-old whose boyfriend, who high school seniors is flirting with her boyfriend, was her
Yeah.
reaction to Fairlane. So.
Do you know one? I was just thinking about it. One scene that I'm never gonna get to see that I'm kind of sad about is
What?
when like the way that Nynaeve's her block breaks in the book. Do you remember?
Hmm.
Do you remember how that happens where she
Yeah, yeah,
sinks
yeah,
when she's in the?
yeah. We
I
might
really,
get it.
I don't know. I mean,
Well,
maybe in a different way. That was something I always wanted to see. Always,
well,
always.
yes. Well, because it was, and like we're full spoilers. It's because she finally like surrendered and gave up and was able to do
Yep.
it, and then lands there. So
Yep.
so we may still get it. And you're right, it might not be in the same way, but it almost has to be. Like she's got to think she's gonna die.
Yep.
That was because I know some people were worried that it was gonna be in this episode with Elaine. Like she was or with Rand. Like that was gonna be when she was able to break through. And I was like, I don't think they'd give us that so early. They've got more. I think they've got to arc her arc a little bit more
Yeah,
before
that's
they
true.
before they can before they can let her bond break, or
Yep.
her block break.
Yep.
Because I mean, we've seen her channel in anger, but we've also seen her frustrated and not be able to channel. So I think we need to see a little bit more of her getting, not necessarily pushed around, but of her dealing with the inability to channel.
Yeah. True. True.
Yeah. I see. I think he let it happen too easy. That it. I don't think he's dead, because the whole
Oh.
thing is that he in the cold open, Luz says, "I know how much you don't want to be alive anymore,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm truly sorry for this." But even with this, like he knows he will get reborn. He knows that this is the whole thing.
Yep.
So you would think, if anything, he would travel. He would get away from Rent. I really think he's like, I've got to fake my own death, or he's depending on the Dark One to bring him back. But he's like, yeah, because he still has a plan to enact. Like he knew once he saw Lansford, he knew what he had planned was not going to happen. But he knew he couldn't just up and leave. Like he had to go through the motion. And
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
he could have
Daniel.
gotten
That's
lucky.
That's why I
I do,
don't think I'm gonna
Daniel.
get
Yeah,
I'm not gonna get it in the way it was in the books, but
right. It's gonna have to be accelerated because again, that is another scene that it is a fan favorite, right?
yep.
I think they're trying to hit as many fan favorites as they can mess without throwing the storyline off too much. And it will probably be that the bond breaks, maybe back at the tower. But I do think Lan will be there. I mean, maybe Lan will be in danger. Maybe that's what breaks it. Is that
That's
I mean, she's already done it once. I mean, she's. This is when the dragon appears.
yep. There it is.
I do love a good dragon, y'all. Just like I think Smog is so pretty in the Hobbit movies. I love him so much. And I don't know what happened in my childhood, but dragons, Winnie the Pooh, and Prince are the only three things I can not remember not liking. Like all my entire life, I've loved those three things.
See, Ebony, I think you're right. I think right
I think his
there
ears are gonna
under this
pop up.
poof. Guys,
Yeah, I think they're just laid down because he was trying to be inconspicuous, and he's gonna see Aerith, and then point, those ears are gonna pop right up, and it's gonna be hilarious.
there she is again. Yeah, that look on her face as she walks into the room, like they are all mine. I'm never
Hmm.
gonna have to deal with these people again. I'm
Yeah,
done.
yeah, yep. She just the amount of pride on her face. She is so sure of herself. And then, like I said, crazy pants, just sitting
Yeah,
in
no,
there chilling.
she is crazy for sure. That was my
But I cannot
my
wait to
last
see more of
picture.
that.
I know.
Here's the thing: she wasn't crazy like that. Like all the Forsaken are crazy, but she was not like that. She was manipulative. She planned very well. She did work from the shadows. And you don't think of somebody who seems to be insane to be able to work like that, right? You need a certain level of sanity. So I'm
Yep.
interested to see how they're going to go with this insane Mogedion still working from the shadows because I'm like I said, she wasn't crazy like that in the book, but I am excited to see this version of her. Because then I also want to know, why did you turn? Like, was it just seem like something good to do, or like, what was it? Were you crazy before you turned, or what happened?
Hopper.
Hopper, they absolutely can, because this show, I'm pretty sure you got to be 16 to watch, and that's happening to every 16-year-old, at least on the continent. So,
Well, I'm gonna do my here. Let's see if I can do it.
okay.
Make
Oh,
sure
there you
you
go.
guys hit subscribe, you like, you share, you follow us. I know
Yes, yes, yes.
the season is over, but
Yes.
we are not done yet. Um, Hopefully our bearded friend will be back with us
Yes,
next
he's
week,
running this
next
whole
time.
show.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
we've got. I don't think he's put the poll up yet. We haven't put a poll up yet to see what we're gonna watch. Like,
No,
we
not
usually
yet.
take a week off in between
Yep.
shows, and then we'll put a poll up and see what it is we're gonna watch next.
Yep.
But yeah, so this was fun, and I think
It
we might
was.
actually be ending a little earlier than we do when Tom is here.
That's because he keeps us talking. He just
He
keeps
does.
going.
He does. And I love him for it, but I'm an old lady that has to go to work in the morning. Um,
Yeah.
so I guess that's it, guys. We got our season 2. It was much better than a lot of us thought we were gonna get. We all have some likes, we all have some dislikes, but I think all in all, they are doing the best they can with the constraints they have, and I personally am happy with it.
No,
Season two
I'm.
has Yeah, season 2. I was worried. I was worried at the end of season 1. I
Yep.
really was. But season 2, I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. We're getting there. I can't wait to see season 3. I cannot wait to see how far into the series we get in season 3.
Yeah, no, episodes 7 and 8 of season one were rough for me, and I'm thrilled with where it ended. I'm sad that it ended, but
Yes.
now I love that we know for sure we get a season three. We know it's coming.
Yes.
It's in the
Yep.
works. It's already been filmed. And now
Mhm.
we get to talk about it and we get to dissect these seasons and start making
Yes.
our predictions for where we get to go
Yes.
next, which is so exciting to have
It
new
is.
Wheel of Time things.
It
Like,
is. It has been 10 years. 10 years since the last book came out. So that means it's been 10 years since I've like seriously theorized about something I can get an answer to. Because
yep,
after Memory of Light, we just had stuff that we knew we were never going to get answers to.
true. So
So,
true. Well,
so
we love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us on Monday.
yeah,
We'll have a poll up soon. We'll probably take next week off, but then we'll be
yeah,
back with something new to talk
something
about.
new.
Night,
All right. Bye,
night, guys.
guys.